I'm going to digitize a marsh scene. I'll be tracing out a full-size diagram. First thing we're going to do here is define the 4 points of the diagram using logiic software. You can see there I'm touching the 4 corners of the diagram. That defines my workspace. And the first selection we're going to make is the circle command. You'll notice when you use the circle command, the computer echoes back the diameter. That gives you a chance to change it or correct it or accept it. Circle command is very simple. You're just touching 3 spots. Now I'll start tracing out some of the internal parts. This is an interesting marsh scene because you've got butterflies, you've got birds, and you've got all those reeds and the cattails. And as usual, you'll see the red pencil on my table. I use that to keep track of where I start tracing the vectors. Also, it keeps track of what I've done. On most of these internal tracings, I'm just using the trace command. I also save my work frequently. Just every once in a while, I'll just stop what I'm tracing and create a file. Saving files brings out a good point here. When you save your work, the computer saves a work copy. That work copy can reload it. Say you want to take a break or continue on the next day, you would just load up that work copy and continue tracing. The format extension on that work copy is TLG. One unique feature is the ability of the program to extend the control window to another device like a cell phone or an iPad. What makes this really handy is that you can have those controls right beside you as you trace. You can switch from tracing to line command, etc. right quickly without going back to the main program. I find the software easy to use and it's fast. And it has the ability to be saved in a lot of different formats: DXF, PolyDXF, SVG, or PDF. I've been eyeing up this marsh scene for quite a while, and I thought it'd be really good to do it on a piece of barn board and do it as a large circle. And the CO2 laser makes this cut really simple and accurate. The other thing to remember here is the program has a lot of options and setup features that you can configure this program to suit your own needs. Like, for instance, I prefer the line width to be 0.5. I want the drawing line just like a black thread. And of course, you could add some color to what you've been drawing. Another worthwhile point to mention is that this software can run on a Mac. I'm getting close here to finishing up all the tracing, so I'm going to save my final DXF file, and I'm going to take that file and load it into the CO2 laser software to start programming my cut. Before I start the cut, I'd like to run it through the laser simulator. This gives me an idea of the time involved and how the laser will cut the different parts, what sequence. As you saw there, I'm using an 1/8 inch barn board walnut panel. Very smooth cutting. And because the panel was so flat, I didn't have to use magnets on the corner. A lot of times when I cut panels, I have to put magnets on the corner to hold it down because it gets a bit of a warp. And that's important because that laser head is 5 millimeters over the work, which is very close. Worst case scenario is that the laser head will pick up your workpiece and drag it on the laser bed. That really messes up your project. You got to pretty well start from scratch all over again. Once I'm finished my cut, I'll remove all the background pieces and we'll see how it looks. It's finishing the cut there. It's doing the outer perimeter. That'll be the last cut. Shown here, I've removed all the unwanted pieces, all the background parts, and just left what I want on the table. So that's finished. That's a marsh scene with butterflies, birds on barn board paneling. Looks good. It's going to be a nice keepsake.